What's up everyone, Doyler here, and with 2 days left in Imps Adventure, I figured I would finally make a guide for those of you that have been asking, instead of just filming a video of me spinning my dice and not really explaining the event to those of you who are newer to the game or newer to Imps Adventure strategy in general. So, if you've never played Imps Adventure, it is a dice-based game in which you roll a normal 6-sided die, move around a board, and collect Idle Heroes-based rewards. So, you throw the dice, and it will, pick a random number 1 through 6, or you throw a lucky dice, and you get to pick the number you roll. Now this is nice because you can avoid some of the pitfalls or move to more advantageous squares. And you collect stars, which give you rewards, by passing these starry mushroom huts. So whenever you land on a square on this board, it will level it up from level 1 to level 2, and they all cap at level 3, anything you see with a level on it. Now, for squares with a resource like Spirit, Promotion Stones, or Dust, when they increase in level, you will increase the reward you receive by landing on it. So right now, if I land on this square, I would receive 650,000 Spirit and level up that square to level 2. It's similar to Monopoly, only every square gives you a reward instead of purchasing something. So, whenever you pass a Starry Mushroom Hut, not land on it, pass it, you'll receive 3 stars at level 1, 4 stars at level 2, and 5 stars at level 3. Now, if you land on it, you also receive these stars, but you level it up. So you want to get these to level 5, or level 3, as soon as possible, so that you collect 5 stars from each every time you traverse the board. Now, huts themselves can't be upgraded, so that's going to be this Wishing Hut, this Fortune Hut, this Karma Hut, and this Lucky Hut. These do special things in the game, but they can't be upgraded. So if you land on the Wishing Hut, you'll get 1 free ordinary dice. If you land on the Fortune Hut, you'll get a tarot card, which has random benefits. Some are great, some are mediocre, some are bad. So they can increase the level of a hut, they can decrease the level of the hut, they can send you back to start, they could double your next dice roll, they can let you roll 2 dice, and so on. The Karma Hut is the square you really don't want to land on. If you roll an odd number, you'll go backwards that many squares. So if you roll a 1, 3, or 5, you'll move back to one of these squares. If you roll a 2, 4, or 6, you will move forward, but you can end up in some pretty terrible loops if you watch my older videos where you land on Karma, roll a 1, roll a 1, roll a 1, and so on. Oh yeah, also thanks Blue. There's also a material chest in the Fortune Hut, which is nice. Gives you some extra resources that you might want. Pretty good benefit. And yes, if you go, that's a good point, Baldy. So, if you are on the Karma Hut and you roll a 5, you see you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will land on this Fortune Hut, but you will not pull a tarot card. So keep that in mind in case you're hoping to go backwards 5, get a double, and go 10 or something crazy like that. And finally, the Lucky Hut. This is where you get your lucky dice. I'll cover strategy for this in a little while, but basically this is a die where you get to pick what number your next roll will be, so it's very beneficial. So, again, these words just cover the 4 huts that I covered. Now, you claim rewards automatically by collecting enough stars. They'll be sent to your mail. So if you get 80 stars, you get Heroic Scrolls, 110 you get Elite Shards, and so on. And you can loop through this again and again, all the way through the 9-star Puppet Chest for 300 stars. So I believe last month was the month I whaled on my main account, and I ended up getting 800 stars, so I got 2 of these and 3 of everything up to and including this selection chest. Now, note that the Imp selection chests for both light and dark and regular 5-star will change every... they update every Imps, but they don't always change the heroes. So this time, you'll see an 8. This is the 8th iteration of the Imps selection chest. So this time, you can select anyone up to and including Ignis, but you cannot select Tix or Flora. And this chest will not change. So if you get this chest and open it 1 year from now, you still cannot get a Tix. That said, chest 9 will probably have a Tix in it. We'll have to see. And these are the material selection chests. You can select gold, spirit, promo stones, dust, chaos stones, and monster souls. Note that generally speaking, the best gem value is going to be these 2 purple things right here. Everything else is kind of poor value. If you select one of those 2, this chest is worth about 6,000 gems, which makes it very valuable. The rest kind of suck, but Again, it depends on your account. If you don't need dust or promo stones, you might need 100 million gold more. But if you are very early or very late, I recommend either saving or get one of these two purple selections. And I just say purple to make it easier for you to remember. And again, on the light dark, this is chest 8. So this will have everyone up to and including Russell and Drake, but it won't have the next light hero we get, for instance, ever. And it says, you know, once the chest is obtained, the rewards will never change. So, what else do I need to cover? Okay, so number 7 is the most important thing I can cover other than strategy. This is the help note a lot of people either don't read or forget about. When this event ends, any dice you did not use, both ordinary and lucky, will be converted into 2 stars. So let me give you a perfect example that I've seen time and time again. Let's say you have 199 stars and you are on this promotion stone square and you have 1 dice left. Do not roll it. Best case scenario, you roll a 6. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's a bad example. Sorry. No, that is perfect. So best case scenario, you roll a 6. You land here and you end up with 204. That said, odds are against you rolling a 6 since you have a 1 in 6 chance. You have a 5 in 6 chance of landing on any of these other squares. Alternatively, if you just save that die, don't do anything until the event ends, it will automatically be converted into 2 stars, and you'll end the event with 201 stars, receiving your 5-star selection chest. So towards the end, you'll see me using a calculator a bit more or doing some math. That's because you don't want to waste dice. If you can't guarantee you are going to get stars with your last dice, it may be more beneficial to save them to hit the next reward tier. So keep that one in mind, maybe even more so than the strategy I'm going to cover in a second. So again, I mentioned 8 briefly, but if you move backwards for any reason, you don't get credit for landing on that square, basically. So if you are on this square and you roll a 1, you're not going to get spirit or level this up. Same with this, same with the tarot hut. So finally, you get dice through daily rewards, shelter mission, value packages, and just straight up purchasing them. So as a free-to-play player, the most dice you can get is 78. You will get 28 of these in your daily email. You can get up to 30 of these by purchasing them here. And then you can get up to 20 from the shelter mission. Now, I finished my shelter mission before this video, and I shouldn't have, but if you've never seen a shelter mission before, you turn 4 specific classes of 4-star heroes, plus any 5-star hero. You turn them in, and you'll get a 5-star hero, 2 pieces of 4-star gear, and if it's during an Imps adventure, you will get 5 dice, for a total of 20 dice from Shelter, non-Light and Dark heroes. Now, generally speaking, Shelter mission isn't super worth doing, not during Imps adventure, since the 4-star gear is usually not as worthwhile as turning, you know, food into less food. But during Imps adventure, you want to get these dice as they're effectively free, and 78 dice is the most you can get as a free-to-play player, which will often get you this 200-star hero selection chest. In theory, you can even get this as a free-to-play player, although it's like a 0.4% chance. Now, to buy these dice, you can buy up to 30 for 150 gems each, which means even if you're a free-to-play player, you are going to want to save 4,500 gems for Imps Adventure, as these dice are almost always going to be worth more than 150 gems each. So, before I jump into the actual spinning, that covers how the game works and what all you can do. I just briefly want to cover lucky dice strategy. So, obviously, ordinary dice, you're just going to click and move, blah, blah, blah. Once you land on this lucky hut the first time, you will get a lucky dice. Generally speaking, when you only have 1 lucky dice, you want to use it to get another lucky dice. So if you are here, you will use that lucky dice, select 6, and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're here, you won't use it to select a 5 because you would end up here, so you'll just use a regular dice and hope for the best. Here you use it to get a 4, here you'll use it to get a 3. That said, generally speaking, if you're on one of these 2 squares, you'll want to use an ordinary dice, because either A, you'll roll a 3, which is average, or higher, or B, you'll get a 1 or 2, and potentially get a second lucky dice. Now, if you have a second lucky dice, you can use it to upgrade mushroom huts if you're early on, or escape the Karma Hut with a 6 if you're later on in the game. It gets a little more advanced, but generally speaking, that's what you want to use the second one for. Upgrading mushrooms if early, or escaping Karma if late. Generally speaking, you won't get 2, since you'll have to be here or here and roll 1 or 2, but 2 makes the game really exciting and much easier. Now, note that I said you get 78 dice. There is 1 day left. I'm not going to show that off in this video, but I will get 4 more in mail tomorrow, and we'll get 78. And finally, there is an Imps Adventure Simulator. There's 2, actually, that I like to use. I'm going to include those in the video description. Basically, they'll tell you, you know, if you're on this square, your huts are 2, 2, and 2, you have 100 dice, sort of where you can expect to go, which will help you decide if you want to use more dice, buy more dice for gems, or even spend money on dice. So with all of that said, let's jump into the game and actually show it off, as well as see if I get good luck or get to show off some lucky dice strategy. So, as you see, got upgraded, got the reward. Same here. So, we got our first Karma Hut. So, if we roll even, we go forwards, odd is backwards. So, we got that one. So, in theory, we could roll another 1 and end up back here. Thankfully, we don't. So, we're moving. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten a lucky dice or leveled anything up in our first loop. So, probably not going to get insane We may not even get the 200 chest on this account, unfortunately. We'll have to see. Things aren't going great so far, though. So, hopefully we can get a 4, which will help us. Oof. We are, alright, we finally leveled up 1 hut at least. So, our next roll will be doubled. So, in this case, if you get that card and you have a lucky dice, you'll want to roll a 5 here. Why? Because that will move you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 squares, and you'll get that lucky dice right back, including stars for both of those huts. That said, we roll a 2, so nothing interesting. So yeah, this is going really rough so far. We might not even get the selection chest on this account, which is unfortunate, as this is the Race to E5 account. Can we get a 1 and then a 2? Alright, we level up that one at least. 2? Nope. Leveling up the huts is more important than the lucky dice. The lucky dice just makes our life safer and easier. So once I do a few more loops... Alright, 6 is good there because we move as far as possible and we don't go backwards. So things are going better in the second half. Can we high roll a 5 here? Another 4. That's too bad. 1? Alright, we finally got the lucky dice, so I will be able to show that off. Took a while. Okay, so we're here. So now we're going to use our lucky dice to roll a 4 and get a copy of it for free. Get it back for free, basically. Thankfully, while our regular dice roll haven't been great, the tarot hut has been kind to us. Double? 2 dice. Okay, so when you have a lucky dice, this is effectively the same. So we will throw 2 dice instead of 1. If we clicked here, it would roll 2 single dice randomly. Instead, we're going to do this, select 2 5s, and get that 10 I mentioned. Boom. Much better. Now we're looking good. Double? Alright, so next move, we're going to go backwards, unfortunately. So we finally got a bad tarot to show off. So as you see, we move backwards. We did not get spirit, and we did not level up this hut. Okay, we got a material selection chest. Not bad. Free resources are always nice, and not having bad things is good. 6. 4 is okay. So we're not going to use this to roll a 1, because anything higher than 1 will advance. So if we can manage to get a 1, we'll get a second lucky dice. Which we do. Let's go. So right now, my thought process is, this is still not level 3. If I'm in a situation where I can land on this square, I'll use the lucky dice for that, and then maybe get a 2 for a second lucky dice again. So let's see what happens. So 5. So normally you would want to use 1 lucky dice to get a 3 here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lucky dice to get a 1, and then save the other lucky dice. Hoping to get maybe a 2. Can we get a 1 here? That'd be fun. Alright, so we don't get the second lucky dice back, but we don't need it that much anymore. 1 is really usually enough. Alright, so we randomly leveled up our 5-star Hero Workshop with that card, so that's nice. So after I use this lucky dice, I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm not going to switch screens, but I'll sort of talk through what I'm calculating. So right now, I have 14 ordinary dice. I know it says 10, but again, I'm getting 4 more tomorrow. 1 lucky dice. I'm at 142 stars. I'm on the Lucky Hut. And all of my mushrooms are level 3 with no active tarot. So the simulator is now going to run a million simulations and see how it's looking for me. Unfortunately, things aren't looking great. Right now I have a 68% chance to get here, which is okay, and only a 31% chance to get the selection. This is sort of your goal as a free-to-play player. It's really the best reward you can get without having crazy or terrible RNG. 230 is definitely doable. Last Imps, I think 3 of my accounts hit it, but again, it's not as valuable or useful as the selection chest, especially on an account where I'm racing to E5. So 31% chance means we're going to need some good RNG. Let's see what happens. Would have been nice to get the free one. Double? We kind of needed a double. Things aren't looking great. So we'll roll a 3 here. We need to land on like the free dice squares or get more doubles. So like a 3 and a double would be good. I'm guessing we're not going to get it, guys. This is looking pretty poor so far. So we'll use this to get a 4, and then I'll go back to the calculator, see how we're doing. So, we've got 4 ordinary dice left. 1 lucky dice. We are only at 172 stars. I think it's going to be basically impossible. Yep, so unfortunately, while this is the demo video, even with tomorrow's dice, I only have a 3.7% chance of hitting this chest. And again, I would have 5 dice left, so if I multiply them by 2 stars, the most I can get is 10 for the not turning them in, which would be 182. So we're going to have to hope for some incredible luck tomorrow. Seems unlikely, unfortunately, for the race account, but hopefully this sort of explained Imps Adventure and shows off how the game works as well as what sort of average RNG you can expect is. So that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you like the content. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.